Alright guys, breeding is in full swing. I'm out here tonight cleaning up a little bit. It has been relatively warm today. All the droppings are loose enough for me to scrape up. The floor is nice and clean finally. Man, it was so cold. The droppings were literally freezing as they landed, and it was like walking on rocks in here. They wouldn't even go through the freaking grates. I did reinstall the perches because they need a little bit of extra space. Maybe keep them out of the box so the boxes stay relatively clean. I find some birds love to crap right inside their box, and others will go out of their way to crap outside of their box. And you know how it is when you have laying hens and they make those big old German Shepherd sized turds. Yeah, you don't want them in the box. That'll gag a freaking skunk. But nonetheless, guys, we are in here. Like I said, I cleaned up earlier. I got my little clean bucket. I don't like to, if it's light, I'll just throw it on the floor and it falls through the grates. But for the most part, I like to scrape it up scrape it in a bucket and just get it out completely. I mean, I'll have to do it later on the floor anyway, so might as well. Good news is we are in 90% success rate with eggs. We have eggs in every bowl but two. We had 2 eggs. One didn't make it in here and one didn't make it in there. They were not fertile, I mean to say. So what I ended up doing was I combined both those 2 eggs, and they are under that hen right there. So Andre's cock and 211 will go on another set here in the next few days. And then I'm still having trouble with the red pair, guys. Even though it was clear to see in the previous video that they were very attracted to each other, I have had no luck. I lock them up. They stay relatively close. They don't really fight, so to speak. And he does sing a little bit, but it's not enough. It's not enough to really get her going. And as you guys can see, they haven't done anything. I locked them up again today just to see if any change, and still nothing. Again, I'm not sure what to do there. I'd like to use the cock. Unfortunately, I don't have any extra hens at the moment. And there's a long story behind why I don't have any extra hens this year. But nonetheless, guys, we will figure things out. I'm not too concerned. If I have to miss a year on that bird, that's fine. Again, he just came off a racing season, so it's not a huge deal to get babies out of him right away. I'd like to, don't get me wrong, I really would. But it is what it is, guys. Other than that, like I said, we are good on every nest except for the one in the bottom. We're waiting for another couple days. Even though it was sub-degree temperatures here in Michigan, we did not lose any eggs to freezing. Like I said, the only 2 eggs that were not fertile were in those 2 boxes, and I was able to combine them and go forward with that. And I only did it, honestly, because I'm expecting grizzle youngsters out of that bowl, and out of this bowl, I'm expecting reds. So I'm going to find maybe 1 red youngster, maybe 1 grizzle youngster, so I'm not too concerned on who is who when they hatch. If they were both blues and I was expecting something similar, I would not have combined them, only because I want to know the parentage for my record keeping. But in this case, that's exactly what I'd expect, so I'm not too concerned about that, really. Apart from that, guys, we're going forward. So apart from that little hiccup with the reds and those 2 eggs that are not fertile, we are actually having one of the best seasons we've had so far. Now, knock on wood, guys. Anything can still happen from here on out. We can still have dead babies. We can still have frozen eggs, maybe another cold snap. Anything can happen. But so far, compared to the previous seasons, this has been one of my best seasons. And it shows. It shows that keeping a smaller amount of birds in a small section like this definitely goes a long way. The workload is reduced on my end. The stress is reduced on the bird's end. It's only positives. There really is only positives. And I know I've mentioned it in a few videos on a few guys that I watch that I've subscribed to as well. And I don't necessarily mean to get rid of your birds, guys. What I mean by less birds is keep less birds in that section. If you have the space, if you have a bigger loft or more sections, move those birds around. If you guys remember, just a few years ago, there were 16 pairs in here, guys. 16 pair. And it was total chaos. I was constantly chasing sickness. I was constantly chasing birds that were fighting for nest space, nest boxes, broken eggs. I had long dividers, if you guys remember, between the boxes to keep birds from jumping over. All that's gone. It has been eliminated with the loft designed this way, with the amount of space that I have, with the amount of birds that are in here now. And apart from that box that I have to keep open for gingerbread man and still utilize the top box 12 pair in here is ideal. I can even go 10, to be honest with you. And I was going to go 1 pair less, but it just, the feng shui of this section right now seems to be working. I didn't want to mess with it. There's plenty of box space. There's plenty of bowl space. I say plenty available bowls. Plenty bowls available to the birds, so I'm not too concerned. I do like the 12 pair in here, and I think I'll keep it that way. If I don't get anything out of the 2 reds, I may have to figure something out there, maybe move them around a little bit or something of that nature. But apart from that, guys, it's a pretty good season. I hope to make a few more videos, maybe covering a few new additions. Let me rephrase that. Not new additions. I didn't bring anything but the reds in. Some of the new pairs, some of the new matings that I have together for this year. I may not go box for box like I did in the previous year, but I may do maybe 3 boxes in one video, and or something of that nature. We'll go down that route when the time comes. At this point, we're just, like I said, taking it one day at a time. It was nice and warm today, so I did what we had to do. I'm sure everybody was out cleaning and maintaining, and if you weren't, you should have been. Not very many warm days, especially this time of year for us. So take advantage of every warm day you can, just to make it easy for yourself, guys. Workload. Remember, if you guys are following along with Little Loft, I do have to send 2 youngsters to him this year, and I told myself the first pair of birds that lays eggs this year, I'm going to send a youngster from that pair, and it just so happened to be Boy Blue and the Cocoa Hen in the middle box here. They've been one of my top breeding pairs. Consistent youngsters. If they're not winners, they're always on top. And I think out of this year, I still had most of their youngsters out of this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't chosen my second bird to send, but I said the first birds that lay eggs, those are the birds that are going to be sent, or at least one of the youngsters are going to be sent. So we'll see. We'll see how the youngsters come out, and I'll cover that as well. At least I'll try to cover it, guys. It's finding the motivation to make videos sometimes can be difficult, but I do remember that every day I go sit down on the couch and I open my YouTube and I patiently wait for my guys to load. So I try to make them occasionally for you. But nonetheless, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully we have a little bit more to cover, and we'll go from there, guys. See you on the next one.